doesn't have enough on her schedule. She has to deal with a bonehead like me here this morning. She is Amy Trimble, the head coach of the Marion Center Stingers. I want to sort of pick her brain a little bit about what IUP's women's basketball team will be soon facing in the PSAC tournament. But let's start with high school basketball with Amy Trimble this morning. First of all, Amy, it's after that game the other night against Bishop McCourt and how highly charged and emotional that was. Was it difficult talking the girls down and getting them set to get back into playoff preparation mode?
It was a little bit. Yes, it was. They're just super excited. This is a great group of girls. And, the next day at practice, we had that rough game at McCourt. It was a lot, a pretty physical game and a pretty quick game at that. So we kind of had more of a relaxing day the next day at practice and just sort of reminiscing a little bit, but also just talking about Portage and, getting prepared for tonight. So I think they're ready, and I know they're excited, and, we have a lot of support behind us, so that also fuels our engines a little bit, so to get ready for tonight.
You played a lot of great playoff basketball in high school with Marion Center, and you know what it was like getting set for district playoffs, state playoffs, and a game as big as this. You also, of course, have your IUP experience to draw upon. How different is it now with iPads and Huddle and all of these different things, scouting a basketball team, than it was back when you played?
I give kudos to Greg Lazanik and Ernie Fairman and, Lefty. I know Lefty Russian. They just really, it was a different time back then. I know it was only, 13 years ago, but, it really was a different time. They didn't have being able to email each other or send each other on Huddle and now NFHS and stuff to be able to just go and watch a game, whichever game you want. They had to physically be there and go and video and, drive. There's a lot of late nights of driving around, and, I get to do it from luxury of my own home. So it's definitely a different time, but it also, I feel like, increases the, ability of different, being able to scout different games and, what teams did this and what worked for that, rather than just going to watch one game a night or, whatever the fact may be. But it's a lot nicer for sure, especially with two little boys at home. It makes my job a lot easier.
I betcha. All right, so you played Portage very early in the season in December. I don't know how much value you get out of thinking about that game or even going back and looking at the video of that game, but you do get a chance to see them in their most recent games. And so what have you learned about them and about tonight?
They're definitely a quick, fast-paced team also. They have very aggressive defense, and they are very similar to us. And I think that's sort of why we're both here in this position. But, our first game, that wasn't the best game we played. We had a really good weekend at our tip-off tournament, and that was our first conference game. Fresh coming off that, but that was our first, okay, we got a learning curve, I guess. We got to pull ourselves together here. We have a big, long season ahead of us. But, that was a rough game, but on our end, and I think we have accomplished a lot since then and learned a lot, and we have a whole brand new team this year. I mean, we have 8 players that didn't play with us last year, whether that be freshmen or sophomores that have joined. So, half our team literally was a brand new team, and that's what we kept talking about. It's a lot of chemistry. You just got to see what works and who needs to go here and there, and kind of like what that Northern Cambria coach said for the boys. It's a kind of a hard team to coach because there's just so many people with so many different talents and different roles, and any given night it could be anybody going off, and that's sort of the story of our team too. Whoever sort of needed that night, and the best part about it is nobody gets jealous or nobody gets angry. They back each other because they're so close, and the chemistry on this team is kind of like my high school team. It's very, very close-knit girls, and that chemistry is going to take you a lot farther than just pure talent. So, I'm just so happy for these girls, and I'm excited to see what happens tonight.
Plus, one of the interesting things to me about your ball club is it's evolving, and when you have young players as young as yours are, their games change so quickly through the course of a season. You didn't even have Avery Ruddick for most of the year.
Yeah.
You look at the personnel that you're putting out there. Some of them have never played this level of basketball before, and certainly not in this kind of an atmosphere when you get to the playoffs.
Absolutely. And, that just goes to show what type of leaders we have with Lydia and Maya on the floor. And, even Miranda and Anna, they might not get playing time as much, but they're still leaders as people and as, off the floor. They're showing they're just as much as part of the team as anybody else. And that just really goes to show what our team is like, lead by example. And everybody else follows suit. Nobody gets upset or anything. It's just a very tight-knit team. And that just, they step up. The young girls, like we have 3 freshmen we play, and they step up and they just do their role, and they're comfortable because of the leaders that are on and off the floor.
You had the gunslingers going the other day, Lydia for you, and the girl that was just filling it up with 7 3-pointers for Bishop McCourt. Yeah. Portage has the ability to spread that scoring around too. They're good, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. They're a great team, and they have this experience. They have a lot of seniors and that do have this experience of, championship mentalities and experiences. And, that's the part they have a little bit better than us. But the fact is we've played lockdown defense. Southern Huntington had really good 3-point shooters. McCourt obviously did. And, that's just what we've had kind of a good lineup with similar play throughout all of the 3 teams that we've played, or, with Portage tonight too. And so I tell the girls, like, you just keep doing what you do and don't change a thing, and just, be on the shooters, but also they can drive. So have your balance, above your feet and the quick first step on defense.
We're on the line this morning with Amy Trimble. She is the head coach of the Marion Center Stingers. Of course, we remember you playing not only for Marion Center, but a lot of playoff basketball on some really, really great IUP basketball teams. And here they go into the PSAC tournament. So I want to ask you about that. A PSAC schedule is such a grind, and you get through the month of January, and February takes a while as well in terms of the number of games that you're playing to get to this point. So they've got just this game coming up against Clarion over the weekend, and then they're getting ready. They get the first round bye. But tell me about preparing for a PSAC tournament. How different is that from the regular season?
It's a lot of film sessions. You got to also rest your body because, like you said, it is a lot of basketball with January and February, and it's college basketball is rough, and you got to rest your bodies, get healed up for playoff season, and a lot of film sessions and a lot of just fundamentals, basics and fundamentals, and that's same thing with high school. That's what we're telling our girls too, is just stick to what you know and tweak things that you need to do a little bit better, and especially for the playoff round. But that's a big thing, is just mentally preparing, visualizing yourselves for that next step.
I'm guessing, and you can tell me if this is true or not, that there's a really special emphasis as the season goes on through the winter months on getting proper rest and eating the right things too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know. At IUP we would meet with a nutritionist and stuff, and I've been telling the girls too. Like last night, we had a team dinner, just so they were eating the right stuff the day before a game, and it's a big thing. It's a big thing, and I think it's more so coming down now into the next years of just learning and learning what you need to eat and what you shouldn't eat, and just getting the rest. And that's what we kept telling our girls even this week, and that was a big thing at IUP, and that was all my knowledge of all that's coming from there. So I'm thankful for that.
That tournament where you're playing games one on top of another and hoping you keep winning so that you can keep advancing, that pressure atmosphere, when you look back on it, it probably is great fun, but there's a lot of tension, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of pressure, a lot of tension, and it's a lot of fun, but there is a lot of pressure, and especially on the big stage like that. And the biggest thing is just keeping your teammates close and building on each other, and positive affirmations as the weekend goes on, and hopefully live for the next day. So,
well, your nieces, we used to sit there, and your nieces would be in the row in front of us, climbing over the seats, and just bundles of energy. And those bundles of energy will be on the court playing for you tonight. So we wish them the best. We wish you the best as well, and want to thank you for being with us this morning.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Todd.
We'll see you tonight at Mount Aloysius.
Sounds good.
There is Amy Trimble this morning with us, the Marion Center head coach, of course, IUP basketball for all of those years as well. And it is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.